Welcome to part 5 of this course. This part has a specific group of formulas. They're mainly about date and time. But before that, of course, let's start with the quote of the day, the dose of motivation that we all need, really. So today we have big things have small beginnings, and just how true is this? I'll just leave it to you to contemplate, really. The first formula that we are going to look at today is the date formula. The date formula, it is used when you need to get a date of separate kind of like numbers for a year, a month and a day, and basically the structure actually explains that as well. So the structured formula is, first of all, we need to input the year number, then the month, and then the day. So let me give you an example to show you what I mean by that. So here's what we have. So we have separate numbers for year, month and day, okay, and the date formula is going to just merge really everything into a date. Okay, so this is what we have, 28th of January 2010, just to show you all the other ones as well. So we need, of course, to convert them, the formatting should be as dates, really, and this is what we have. Okay, back to the presentation, and the next set of formulas, year, month and day. So this is basically the opposite of a little bit the opposite of the date formula. So now the year will return the year from a specified date, the month will return the month, and the day will return the day. Okay, the structure is basically the same. So let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, so now I have prepared here a set of formulas. Okay, not the set of formulas, of course, just a range of dates here. Okay, and now we want to get the year in this column out of the date, and then the month. Okay, that's going to be the 12th month as well, and then the day should be 12 as well. Okay, so what we can do is then just copy paste the formula, just paste the formula in the rest of the table. Okay, so that we can actually have all the years, months and days here as well. Okay, these are very useful formulas when it comes to analyzing specific set of data that has obviously dates in it. Okay, now back to the presentation. The next formula is time, very similar to the date formula. Okay, and now what we have is this formula, time, is going to get us obviously the time from the separate hour, minute and second, and as I said, very similar to the date formula. Okay, we have the set here, the set of data. Okay, now we need to just type in time and then add the hour, minute and second. Okay, and this is what we are going to have, 5:29 p.m. Okay, now copying that in all the other ones. Now we need to convert to obviously set the format for, of course, date for time. So this is time, right, and this is what we have. Okay, so the other set of formulas are hour, minute and second, very similar again to the year, month and day formulas. Okay, the hour will give us the hour from a specified time, the minute will give us the minute, and second will give us the second respectively. So just to give you the example here as well, as I said, very similar to the year, month and day formulas. Okay, so now what we're gonna have is we're gonna have the hour here. Okay, and we're going to have the minute here. Okay, second as well, and this is what we get. Okay, so just to fill in the whole table here with data, this is what we get. So 22 seconds, 12, 24, etc, etc, etc. Very easy and very convenient formulas. Okay, and it's really good to know them, to have them in mind, because when you analyze big sets of data, you know, they can be very useful. The next set of formulas are obviously the date value and time value. Okay, the date value will return the number format of a date that was formatted as text, and I know it might sound a little bit complicated right now, but I'm sure the example will show you what I mean. Okay, the time value, similar to the date value, will convert a text time, obviously time formatted as text, to an Excel serial number for time. And let me show you what I mean by giving you the examples, because I'm sure they will clarify this for you. Okay, now I just need to find the formulas, of course. Okay, yeah, so date value and time value. Okay, so as you can see, we have a date here, but here the formatting is actually text. Okay, so that means that this date has been formatted as text. Okay, in order to get just the serial number, serial date number, really, what we do is we type in date value, and after that we select that cell. Okay, so this is the serial number. So if you haven't seen, like, you know, this type of numbers for dates, these are the Excel obviously numbers that are obviously like responding to specific dates, of course. And then the time value, pretty much the same thing. So we have 12 noon time. Okay, so again, it is formatted as text rather than time. And now, in order for us to get the time value, we type in the formula, and this is what we get. We get 0.5. So basically it gives us the decimal number here, because it's more like a percentage. Really, it basically means it's 50% of the day. So the first 12 hours of the 24 hours that's supposed to go have already gone. Okay, so 12 over 24 is 0.5, of course. Okay, so back to the presentation. The next formula is days 360. This is actually a very useful formula, because it gives you obviously the number of days between two dates. Okay, and it considers a 360 day year. Okay, we start with the start date, and we after that end with the date, with the end date. Okay, the example is here as well. So we have the two dates here, 12th of December 2017 and 12th of August 2018. Okay, in order for us to get the difference in days based on a 360 day year, we need to select the start and end dates. Okay, so we have 240 days here. Okay, now back to the presentation. We have eDate. eDate is a formula which returns basically the serial number of the date, that is the indicated number of months before or after the start date. So what I mean by that is, I'm going to show you now, of course, but before that, the structure is, first of all, we need to have a start date and then number of months. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by that. So we have the eDate here. Okay, now the eDate formula, once we type that in, now we need the start date, of course, and now this is 10th of January 2019. Okay, I wanted to go 3 months from that date and to show me the date then. Okay, so basically it is going to show me 10th of April 2019. Okay, so basically what this formula does is it basically takes an input from the user, of course, and that input is first of all the start date, and after that the number of months that we need to go forward, really, that you want to kind of like, look at the date, let's say a specific number of months from now. What we can do, we can also type, let's say 20 months. Okay, so what's going to happen, this is going to give us 10th of September 2020. Okay, same for this date as well. We can just go and type obviously the formula, and then go, let's say 8 months from now, from that date, of course. And again, this is the Excel number, so we need to obviously convert that to a date. So the date is going to be 1st of June 2020. Okay, the next formula is end of month. So the end of month formula is very similar to the previous formula, to the previous formula, which was a date here. Okay, but instead of like the specific date, let's say 3 or 4 months from now, it gives you the end of the month after, let's say 3 or 4 or 10 months, for example. Again, the structure of the formula is is basically the same as the edate function. Okay, and just to give you an example now, what is going to happen now is we have 2 dates. Okay, the first date is 26th of January 2010. Okay, so what we can do is we can just type in the end of month formula and open the brackets, and then take that date, of course, and go, let's say 3 months from then. Okay, so you can see, let me just change the format again of this date. You can see we have 30th of April 2010. As you can see, we want to go 3 months from that date, really. Okay, and 3 months from that date, for example, if it's not end of date, end of month formula, if it's e date, for example, it is going to give us 26th of April, but in this case it gives us the end of the month. Okay, again, same thing here as well. We can go and type end of month. Okay, and then select, let's say 12 months from then, and what we're going to have is after changing the format, of course, is 30th of September 2017. Okay, now the next formula is the workday formula. What it does is it returns the serial number of the date before or after a specified number of work days. Okay, so let me give you an example to see, so that you can actually see what I mean by this. Now, going back to the presentation again, we can do this. Now, work day, and we can type in the start date, and then obviously days. Okay, so if we want to go 1 day from that specific date, okay, we type in that, and now we want to convert this to obviously the date format. Okay, so now as you can see, all of a sudden it gives us 4th of April, 4th of March 2019 instead of, let's say, giving us 2nd of March 2019, because as you can see, we set like 1 day difference here. Okay, but because it's a workday formula, it purely gives us the next working day after this date. Okay, because we have obviously specified here as days just 1. Okay, so instead of giving us 2nd of March, because it gives us 4th, because 2nd and 3rd are actually Saturday and Sunday, and they're not working days. Okay, the next formula is year frac, and this formula is quite useful, of course. And I personally really like it because when I have to analyze big sets of data that have obviously a lot of dates there as well, and sometimes I need to kind of like just get a fraction, like just the percentage fraction between 2 days, for example, based on a specific, let's say, a 360-day year, for example, or something like that. I use this formula, okay? And what it does is purely returns the difference between the 2 days as a fraction of the year, okay? We have obviously a start date, an end date, okay, and then we have the basis as well, which is just an optional thing really, but I'm gonna show you that as well. The year frag is here, okay. Now we have the 2 dates here, okay, and we want to get the fraction as a percentage really, okay. So year frag, and we have this date, we have the end date as well, and now we can use the basis. So usually you have several options here, so I usually select the actual over 365 days, okay, because what this is going to give us, it is going to give us the difference between these 2 dates, okay, and then it's going to divide that by 365 days instead of 360, for example, etc, 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 okay. Now let's select 3 here, okay, and see what happens. So as you can see, 0.23 238356, of course, okay, which is around a quarter of a year, okay. Right, back to the presentation. This is of course the usual slide with which I kind of like finish the specific part of the course as well, and again you have the same quote, and again I'm gonna say it, I'm just gonna keep saying it at the end of each part, and how important it is to just keep repeating what you have already learned, because as the quote has it, repetition is the mother of learning. And if you have any questions, please do let me know in the comment section of this course. I'll see you in the next part of the course.